Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is September 26, 2025. It is a Friday. Happy Friday to you. Hope you have a big weekend planned and do something that you enjoy that brings some peace, love, joy, and happiness into your life. Look, if you are listening to me, uh, we survived the rapture. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there was this thing going around. I think it was a pastor out of Africa, I think, that had told people that the rapture was going to occur September 23rd. And I think also the 24th. I was always under the impression that it was going to be a one time thing and we wasn't going to be told when it was. But I'm old enough now. I have survived several of the raptures, and the one that comes to mind, the first one that I actually remember, I think that was back in the '80s. The first that I remember, and so there's been a few since. But if you're listening to me, I'm glad that you're still here with me because I definitely did not make it in this one. I don't know, but there might be another one in a couple weeks or something. So, again, my name is Mark, and I just wanted to say thank you again for all the views that I've gotten on the previous videos. Picked up some subscribers, and I do thank you. Any of the comments. I just appreciate you guys helping me build in a direction that I want to go. And as I put in the description in the last one, I do have a nonprofit organization. I'm not doing anything with it right now, but maybe in the future, and it's Words of Inspiration. And I do want to encourage people to be the best you, be the best version of you. And I know now that I'm older, it's easier. And I know young people, middle-aged people, in between, the pressure can be overwhelming. And in the last video, I was talking about protect your peace at all costs. Protect your peace. It is priceless. And to stay focused, I get it. I get it. It's hard. But with that said, there are some things that you can do as far as meditating, picking up a book to read, maybe self-help books, or listening to some relaxing music. There's a lot of them out there that if you want to meditate and you want to hear the thunderstorms, if you want to hear the waterfalls, you could call that anything on YouTube now and play it. But the key is to learn to relax and depress. Just relieve that pressure. I was listening to a young man tell his story. I follow him on YouTube somewhat, but he was talking about his friend in his 40s having a stroke and blood pressure fine, heart healthy, and because of stress. So people, please protect your peace, protect your peace, and let your nose ring louder than your yeses. Because the more you take on, the more you allow people to put on you, the heavier that load is going to be. And it's going to be harder for you to take care of yourself. I don't care what stage you're at in life. I don't care if you're single, married, 20 kids. Find time to take care of yourself some way, somehow. Now, with that said, um, I just want to chit chat with you again on. Well, I just touched bases on protecting your peace because it was just so hard for me to get to that place. But now that I'm here, I'm going to protect it at all costs. Now, I want to move on and talk about a couple other things. And this is to know your limits. Just sit with that a minute and know your limits. And I read a quote some time back said, if you are a giver, know your limits because the receiver has none. And I'm sure you have people in your life that you've offered something to, and you probably knew that they didn't need it, and maybe you were downsizing and you was getting rid of stuff, and they just can't say no, give it to someone that needs it. But if you are a giver, if you're the one that says yes, adjust those limits and let your no ring out more than the yes. And then when the person does get a yes, they're going to appreciate it a whole lot more, because people will take you for granted if you are that sweetheart of a person. If you got that kind heart, you're the one carrying around the stress loads of everybody else's decisions, and people make their decisions and then they'll come back and want you to fix them. You know, people dump their kids. Here's my kid, fix them. So know what your limit is. If you know if you are one that is constantly, if someone falls behind on the bill, and you're the one that's stepping in there, stop making everyone else's emergency your emergency. Because when something like that is going to happen, people have an ample amount of time. And I'm using that, it could be the power, it could be a phone bill, it can be a car payment, whatever the case may be, but they're always coming to you. They knew 2 or 3 months back that this was coming, but now they've made their emergency your emergency. And also set limits on what you're going to allow people to put into your lap. Because I don't care who you are, I don't care the age. We all have something that we're dealing with. And I understand people's upbringing, their background is so different. I understand that a lot of our backgrounds was implemented out of fear. So that fear is passed on from, mother to child, from daughter to son to grandchildren. It is handed down, and it's a control thing. And people want to control at whatever cost. Now, again, have a vision of the person that you want to become. Now, we are constantly growing. But when you have a vision and start putting yourself first, and when I say putting yourself first, a lot, we're all given 24 hours. We're all given 7 days, is what we decide to do with that time. So ask yourself some questions. How do you see yourself different than other people see you? Because if you don't have a limit, there is a reason that people see that in you, whether that's that kind, compassionate heart. Look, don't make a business decision from your heart, because that's where the compassion and stuff is. So if you're going to make a business decision, do your research and count up that cost. And if you're going to venture in with someone on a business agreement, make sure that all the legal documents and everything is in place. And this is what I'm saying, set your limits, because you've got people out here, what they will ask of you is unlimited. I mean, I am amazed at what people has asked me in the past. And that's the reason now I'm talking to you from experience. I'm not talking to you what someone else has told me. I'm giving you my experience, because now at my age, I have dealt with a lot of people from what I would call a friendship level, just in conversation, from business, co-workers. I've got enough, and I know you have as well. I'm not downplaying that. I know you have. And so there is a type that is drawn to me. So I had to stand back and say, okay, why is this particular type drawn to me? It's because I'm a giver. Again, I want to give credit where credit is due. I knew it, but I needed to hear it. And I'm so thankful for YouTube because once I stopped following these pastors that was getting rich and started looking at it, wait a minute, this is a pyramid scheme. If you're part of any type of organization, really any type, the leaders is the one that is getting rich off of your time because there again, know the limits. Nothing wrong with giving. Um, I donate to St. Jude Children's Hospital. That's my choice, but I have a limit. I don't care how many letters they send me. Don't care how many little notepads that they send me. I have a limit, and I'm not going to go beyond that. I did have a leader one time. He said, now this was years ago, and he said, give until you feel it, but don't give until it hurts. So if it's going to put you in a bind, learn to say no. Now, as you are doing this, it's going to feel uncomfortable at first, but it gets better. It really does. And once you learn to treat yourself and look after yourself, and once you become healthy and whole, in reality, you do have more to give. But keep that stress level down. Be as healthy as you can. Now, I'm going to move on into setting boundaries because if you don't have boundaries, boundaries is a very healthy thing. There again, I had to grow into that. Now I can go ahead and shut down bullshit and say, fuck that. I mean, just be that blunt. No, fuck that. Um, Now, if you feel like you're being taken advantage of, you are, because that feeling is coming from somewhere. So look at where your boundaries are. People tend to think that boundaries is this huge, big thing. Uh, but boundaries can go back to setting the limits and know what you're capable of doing and know your limits. So therefore, incorporate the boundary and let people know. There again, going back to setting the limits. I'm going to help you this time, but look, this is the new me, and this is it. Or set a boundary, especially if someone is asking for money. Because if they're asking for a loan, you set the limit of how much you're going to. But see if it's a loan, definitely find out how they're going to pay you back. Set up a payment plan. This now we are making a business decision here. So you need it documented. Handwrite it. Go on the computer, make up a document as long as it's a legal signature from the person. It's a legal document. I learned that. I got to go back to when I was in school, and I hadn't given it any thought until I'm talking to you guys. If you write someone a check and you sign it, and then once they turn it over, now in the memo, write loan, write loan in the memo, and then when you sign it, and then when they endorse it, that is now a legal contract because it's documented that it's a loan. And by you signing off on it, they signed it on the back. Both of you are in agreement that this is a loan that's going to be repaid. If you don't want it to be repaid in the memo, write gift. I'm gifting this to you. Now, if you're gifting something to someone, don't expect anything in return because now you are presenting them with the gift. Now, if you are one that receives a gift and you start feeling guilty about receiving that gift, go back to the beginning of the conversation and start telling yourself, wait a minute, I've done A, B, C, D. I deserve this. That's working on that self-love. See, life is not just tied up in a little bow and here it is. And people's in a different place, different times, A, B, C, D. But it's up to you. That's what I want to focus on. It's up to you to make the decisions that's best for your life. And again, I was talking about people think this boundary's got to be this huge big thing. It don't. If someone is in your vehicle, keep that in mind. It is your vehicle. And if you don't allow someone to eat in your vehicle, let it be known up front. If you stop to get fast food, we're going to wait, or we're going to wait till we get to a picnic area. We're going to wait till we get home. You don't eat in my vehicle. Now, don't let it be up and down. Now, there may be some gray areas. You may be dealing with someone that's a diabetic. You've got to weigh that out, but be consistent in that. A boundary can be, if I come to your house and you ask me to take my shoes off, well, see, that's your boundary, that's your rule. So now I can make a choice. If I don't want to take my shoes off, I can leave. Simple as that. People make things harder than what they should be. That's the bottom line. I knew a gentleman years ago, and he shared with me. He used to have had a coworker, and for them to get to work, it was probably like 45 minutes each way. So they decided that they would ride share. This one would drive one week, that one would drive another week. But when he shared with me, his friend, one day on the way home, the friend told him, said, if you have an accident, I'll sue you. So he said when he dropped him off at his house, before he got out of the car, he opened the door and said, I need to talk to you briefly. And it was so brief that he told him, but you need to find another way to work. I'll drive my vehicle, you can drive yours, or if you don't you need to find another way other than me. Even if your vehicle breaks down, because now he's setting a boundary. You can't threaten to sue me and then expect me to be okay with that. But that goes back. See, this gentleman knew his limits. Now, this gentleman went overboard. Have I crossed boundaries? Absolutely. But when it has been brought to my attention that I have crossed a boundary, I correct it. And, and didn't do that anymore, because now I'm conscious of this person has set this boundary, and so I don't need to cross it if I value the friendship, relationship, because even in a friendship, a relationship, a marriage, just out and about and you meet someone, there needs to be boundaries on both sides. It's not a one-way street. It needs to be understood on both sides. So, I have mine, and it took me a while to start enforcing them. And I know those conversations can be hard. I get it. But it's better for you to be uncomfortable for a moment than to have that pivot, that pit, that stress, when you feel it in your stomach because you're afraid to say no, but you don't want to say no. But if you don't learn to, it's going to take a toll on your health. And then who's going to be there for you? And all of this ties into knowing your limits, know your boundaries. Now, if you don't set life boundaries, someone's going to set them for you. Now, I'm talking to grown folks now. When will you start setting boundaries? It took me a while. I had them. I just didn't enforce them. So I'm over those childish games when going back saying, okay, well, he said, and then coming back and say, oh yeah, but see, now it's becoming, okay, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to prove you wrong. So yeah, but the ceiling is white. Yeah, but the floor is blue. You see where I'm going here. Um, yeah, you said this, and some people. I mean, there are people that can say stuff to me, and okay. Somebody else can come by and say the same thing. A lot of times it's how it's said, but all boundaries. I mean, and especially as adults, and I'll share this with you. I don't have kids that I know of, but if I did, um, the kids wouldn't raise me. I'm a parent. I don't care. You'll never be this grown that you're going to turn around and do A, B, C, D. Now, I prove my point. I don't have any, but I've spent a lot of time with my nieces and nephews when they were small. And after I moved out, got my own place, uh, they were 2, 3 years old. They were able to give themselves a bath and pretty much dress. And this was unspoken. They just knew it because they could be chaotic at home. They come to my house, they were just little angels. Yes, they precious. Could they play, run? Yes. I'm talking about them talking back. Now, what they did do, I didn't have to tell them. They did not go in my bedroom. Now, if they went in there, and if I knew it, then I would explain to them that my bedroom is off limits. There's a guest bedroom. There's like the smaller bedroom that I use. That's my office space. They can even go in there and go on the computer. They had their own passwords. I, had it protected for children, sites that they couldn't go on. But they can sit at my work desk and turn on my computer and go in there and play games. But my bedroom was off limits. Now they are grown and they have kids of their own. So, my great nieces and nephews, they can come to my place. They still don't go in my bedroom. Now, I had a townhome, 2 bedroom, and in between was, I guess, what they call the Jack and Jill bathrooms. And even the great nephew, when they came, he was a teenager. And so it would have been easier for him to go through my bedroom to go to the bathroom. He didn't. He went through the the guest bedroom and closed the door into my bedroom and door into the other. It's just an unspoken thing. So when kids know, and I'm talking about when my the nephews was young, we think that adults know, and sometimes, and they do really. They just we let them get away with it. So there again, I just wanted to chit chat with you and encourage you to start setting limits on how many times you're going to say yes and learn to set boundaries. And as you grow into this, if you're not already there, as you grow into it, I do want to prepare you. You're going to lose some people. But then you're going to see who is there for you versus what you can do for them, the benefits that you're given. So that is the warning. You are going to lose some people. And especially as you start freeing yourself and start living your life and start investing more into you. Again, I said I would give you the props because when I went through transformation, one of the ladies that I listened to, other than Oprah, is Lisa Nichol. Lisa Nichol or Lisa Nichols. Anyway, if you put in Lisa Nichols, she's going to come up. But she just enlightened me on so much stuff. I love it when she said, she didn't want to be the queen of her neighborhood, the neighborhood that she grew up in. She didn't want it. So she started to develop herself, and she had to grow into investing in herself, in going to workshops and seminars in order to get out of the situations that she was in. You know, she shares she was in an abusive relationship. But once she started loving herself and started setting boundaries, started respecting herself, learning her limits, because she was like a lot of us. She didn't have any. She would do all of that sacrificing and go without in order to make someone else happy. So now, as I talk to you today, I know my limits and limits if it's more than one thing. And I do. And from experience, one, two, three. By setting boundaries right off coming to mind, I've lost three friends or so called friends. And one of them, it took longer. Uh, they try to hang in there. We don't even live in the same state. Now, the other two, once I calmed down and stopped speaking out of anger, once I stopped that, I guess that because I was such an angry person at a temper, I can go from 0 to 60, and people are like, damn, what just happened? But now I talk to them like I'm talking to you. And the well, let's see, the first one, like I said, it took a long time. And that one, I just didn't have a limit to help him when, and I mean, even dealing with relationship drama and financial drama and, you know, trying to help them. They made that decision, but I made it my problem. So I didn't set a boundary. I wanted to, but I didn't want, I felt like if I set this boundary and say, okay, enough is enough, then I was going to push them farther into a depression or hurt. The second time I had the conversation with a friend, I did not know that that would be our last conversation, but he never reached back out to me. I tried to reach out to him a couple of times, and I said, okay, also in another state, but we had an open communication. But when I started setting boundaries and started addressing the issues that I was having with our friendship, that became the problem. The other one, I wasn't really surprised because that was just messy. That was just messy anyway. So now that I've gone through the process, it has all leveled out and it has all worked out. And now I'm glad, as bad as it may sound, you know, if we can't work through this, it is best that people go their separate ways. So now I hope, you know, again, I do appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And just throwing the humor back in there, I'm glad we didn't get raptured. So if you listen to me, you give me a thumbs up or a comment, I'll know that you didn't get raptured. Again, I do appreciate y'all. The goal that I have here is to get up to 50 prescribers, and then that way I can go live. But until then, I will record the videos and upload them and keep wishing you well. I'm wishing you peace, love, joy, and happiness. Till next time, appreciate you guys.